ask.
On screen.
Fine, we're live. We're live. Whatever.
God damn, you already sucking that down?
Sucking it down. I've
Dude.
had this for years, and I've barely touched
Fox
it.
is always sucking it down. He's a pro at it. Anyway, great start, guys. Great start.
Yep, fantastic. Honestly.
Wait, let me pull you up.
Yeah, I got you pulled up. I'm knocking on the door.
I don't even see you,
Oh,
dude.
it says that we're playing rounds. Wait, the title didn't.
Oh,
wait, it didn't?
It says rounds modded exercises.
I said done.
Jackson.
Accepted.
Okay, it's
What the heck? Okay, that didn't work at all. What the fuck?
So fucking
Hi,
funny.
Jackson.
Oh,
Hi,
no.
Crow.
All right. The typical. Where are you, Fox? I'm
Hi,
just gonna
Josh.
knock on your door this way. All right, there we go. I found you. You little sneaky little fox bastard. Join.
I do that.
Damn, we can't even live here, bro.
I know. Start sharing chat. Boom. Bop boop bop. Bada boop bop pow.
All right. Cool. All done did.
All done did
I
that.
was very confused as to why you were playing rounds in podcast format. Yeah, it's a new structure we want to try out.
New version of rounds.
Yeah,
Out of revolver.
perfectly. All right. Are we good?
Sticks.
Are we
Yep.
Are we ready to rock now?
Yeah, let's rock. I'm waiting on you all day. Damn.
All right, so this podcast is going to be on the video game's effect on the brain, and it should prove to be a pretty relevant topic to most of you guys out there, considering we're all on Twitch. And most of the people in our little community are definitely streamers, aka people who play games. So we're gonna go over the what the effects are, like negative and positive effects, as well as other things that people have been used in, like the medical industry and psychological industries for helping these certain types of conditions as well. But I will walk us down. I didn't even introduce us. What the hell? I'm rough start. All right. Going around. I am the host today because somehow by pure RNG, which I have a lot of apparently because I've been the host a few times now. I will be leading the discussion. My name is Carbonic Acid Studios. Well, that's my Twitch channel, not my actual name. But yeah.
Thank you for
Next.
clarifying.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Somebody else go.
You have to assign because then nobody knows.
Key, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Key, and that is it. That is my intro. Thank you.
Wow.
You guys hurt me. Peach, please save us.
What?
You said that at such a frequency, it blocked it out.
It didn't even catch any of that.
That was worse than Keys.
Get hype, guys. My name is Peach. I'm here. I'm your host. I wanted to podcast. So if you guys are doing good, let's go. Bring it on in.
I am Fox,
please.
or Fox Cookie, whatever you want to call me. Yeah. Let's learn about the brain. Yeah. Let's get into that brain function. Because I think gaming just makes you awesome. So we're wrapped up.
All right. Let's what should we jump into first?
Well, also just saying to the chat that we aren't gonna read the chat. We're gonna read the chat, but we're not gonna say it out loud.
Yeah, the format for this is gonna be a little bit different in that it's not gonna be the same as our normal games, in that we are going to be talking about the podcast topic so we can stay on topic a little bit more than how we normally do it, where we're a lot more engaged with the audience. But yeah. All right. So the first thing is, let's talk about the neuroscience when it comes to gaming.
The neuroscience.
Okay.
So like the parts of the brain that are activated and all that fun and stuff. Yeah.
Did you say jizz?
I heard,
Jizz?
I heard you say
I was gonna say I
jizz,
was gonna
bro?
say jizz jazz, and then I was
All
like, you
that
know
fun
what?
jizz?
Why? How
Yeah.
is jazz any better?
You know what? I don't want to talk about it. We're just gonna move on. And I took notes. Okay.
Bro.
So that's
All
what's
right, tell us
important
how it
here.
affects your jizz, Fox.
Oh God. Why?
Are we trying to get to like the actual brain areas, or are we just gonna go
Yeah.
more generally?
I feel like that. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Please go into elaborate in the certain brain areas. We can talk. Fox, did you want to go first? You sound like you're about to say something.
Huh? I wasn't gonna say anything, but sure, I got some notes. that I-
Sounded like you were going to say something. Am I crazy?
No, what? This man's
All right.
hearing things.
There we go.
That's crazy, bro. All right.
Well, we can first talk about the measurable changes, right? Like the things that we know happen.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said okay.
Oh,
All right, increased gray matter. Is that?
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. But gray
Yeah.
matter where? Did you, or in relation to what? I saw,
Please.
okay. I saw increased gray matter in the following brain areas: muscle control, memories, perception, and spatial navigation. I feel like that is so general because when you say muscle control, like playing video games, I don't think is going to make you have better muscular control of your toes, right? So like I'm assuming it's just like your hands, maybe like your fingers as you're like typing, depending on what console you're using. Um, the memory part, I'm kind of just gonna skip over that because I have other things that I feel like are more interesting, like going to actual studies that show that. But yeah, perception, spatial navigation, I feel like those things make sense because you really have to like be visually aware of your surroundings in game to play. Although I guess it kind of depends on what game you're playing.
true.
All right. What about like? Well, okay. Go over the certain parts of the brain that you were talking about. We'll just give like an overline of like the basic effects on the different parts of the brain. You can start with like the prefrontal cortex if you want to.
Yeah, that's really mostly what I saw in terms of like actual brain regions. I kind of just skimmed over the names because I feel like what's like do people care about the names of brain regions or do they care about like the impact of those brain regions? I'll
So-
say prefrontal cortex, but what people actually care about is the brain region related to higher level thinking.
So you can mention prefrontal cortex and then mention what it affects and then how video games affect those certain things and why they affect those certain things. So we could start with, prefrontal cortex. You can go to hippocampus, amygdala, and the cerebellum if you want to talk about those
All
individual
those words
parts.
were fake. I refuse to believe any of those
Yeah.
words.
But yeah, so prefrontal cortex, decision making, and your impulse control and social behavior makes a lot of sense that it would be engaged when playing games that are strategy based or social based. If like, let's see, well, I don't know, League of Legends. Yeah, one of the League of Legends, I feel like hits pretty much every single one of those points, right? I know, like people have mixed feelings about League of Legends and whatever, but yeah, like it makes sense that when your brain utilizes those things, you go through a certain period of like what's called neuroplasticity, right? Where your brain basically develops to match the changing environment that you're in. So it makes sense that playing these types of games would, in fact, impact these parts of your brain. So then hippocampus, that's for like spatial navigation, right?
Yeah.
Among other things, but navigating your way around a city in a game. Like these are all very game dependent. Like what games you play probably have different impacts on how your brain is affected. So not every game is going to have the same effect in terms of brain development that one would over the other one. And same thing with the negative effects that we'll go into later, right? Amygdala, that's more of like your emotional
Yeah,
stuff,
like,
right?
isn't that the fight or flight? Isn't that where that's located?
Yes, and it's been shown to be triggered a lot in when you're playing suspenseful games or horror games, right? I don't know if it's necessarily good to be constantly impacting that. We'll talk about it later. I'm not going to say positive or negative right now. I'm sure you guys all have like your own ideas when it comes to that stuff. And then we have the cerebellum, which handles your motor control and your coordination, which makes a lot of sense. Like you were saying before, Key, though, it doesn't make sense in terms of like you're going to be able to kick a soccer ball better.
Right.
But it's going to make it makes a lot of sense when it comes to your coordination, when it comes to your hands and your eyes. Just like when it comes to FPS games, you have to you see something, you move, you're able to jerk and be able to be right on target when it comes to those fine hand motor movements.
Well, maybe I should go against what I had just said earlier. I didn't actually look this up, but now that you're saying this, I don't know if you guys have heard of people who imagine themselves doing a physical skill, like kicking a soccer ball or whatever. The more that they imagine it, the better they are when they actually do it in real life. So maybe I was wrong earlier. Maybe it's not just muscle control of your fingers. Maybe just like imagining the act makes you better at actually doing it. That I didn't actually look that up. So I just am remembering this from something that I learned in the past. So I can't cite anything, but I do remember hearing that.
I heard something
Okay.
along those same lines. Yeah, like imagine, like I can't even remember what it's called. Like it's not imagination training. That's what I want to keep calling it. But like, yeah, recreating the act over and over and over in your head isn't gonna make you master it, but it'll make you better at it.
Right, right.
All right. So those are the different parts of the brain that are affected. What about certain chemicals? And I know one that gets brought up a lot is dopamine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reward center.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, when I was reading over, maybe I should go over this later. Never mind. This is gonna be like a later topic. But yeah, when you achieve goals or like do things like when you're playing games, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to link to dopamine. Depending on the game, it'll change dependently, right? Like if you have a very chill game like Stardew Valley, you're probably not going to have as much of a dopamine rush as you would with a game with a lot of like quests and milestones that you have to reach.
I don't know. I feel like Stardew Valley, even just like the popping sound of when you open a chest, or like
Mhm.
little noises like when you hit the tree trunk and you hear like the choo, 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 and then the tree falls, like that's a like dopamine reward system.
Or
So
anything in the
maybe even Stardew
mines.
Valley.
Or anything in the mines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, scratch what I said. Never mind.
I think it also depends on the person. I think
Lots
certain
of dopamine with
people.
that one, I guess.
Well, I mean, like I think certain people have different like criteria for releasing certain amounts of dopamine, right? That's what I was finding out is like certain like depending on your personality and things you personally like video games can release varying amounts of dopamine for you know individuals. Like someone who just like doesn't play games at all hops on Stardew probably isn't gonna like yeah, there's gonna be no release for them. They're just gonna be like, the fuck is this? And, like leave.
It might be the opposite. You know how like people always talk about like dopamine detox, people who are like when you're like scrolling on your phone all the time, so you just have such a high influx of dopamine that your body ends up like decreasing the amount, like it takes a lot to actually react. It takes a lot of stimulus to react in the future because you're just constantly getting such high stimulus. So maybe someone who's playing Stardew for the first time would have a higher dopamine response than someone who's never done video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because I think for most of us, when we start playing the same game over and over again, I know the release of dopamine can't be the same because
No.
I definitely have hit those like plateaus where I don't even want to be there. Like with the game, you're just it's kind of like you're on autopilot. So I don't think
Yeah.
I think the rush is way different when it's new. I would definitely agree with like you on that.
Yeah.
But there's also like games that are more exciting, I'd say. Like
Mhm.
stuff that has a lot of stuff going on is probably going to trigger more of a dopamine rush. maybe not. Maybe people get more of a dopamine rush with chill games, but I would see the case being more where there's like a lot of rewards being given to you for like minimal type efforts. Like every little thing you do, you get like a reward for or whatever. Um, I think that would really escalate your dopamine a lot higher. Which, by the way, dopamine isn't necessarily harmful, but it is linked to addiction and stuff like that. So we'll go over that later. But
Well, it's like good. You need dopamine in order to be motivated to live life
yeah,
and do tasks.
eat, drink, like do work. Like
Yeah, do
it's
any
linked,
kind
it's
of
linked to
like
pretty much everything.
productivity
Work
task. And
out.
so if you have like if you're
Mhm.
getting a super influx of dopamine from high stimulus things, it's going to be hard for you to do menial tasks because you're not getting nearly as much of a dopamine response from those menial tasks now that you like takes a lot, like your threshold is higher.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later when
Well, what are we gonna talk about? I'm not now.
I'm just going over the overall.
Okay, never mind.
Oh,
And then
okay,
we'll go over later
Okay, got
with
it.
the big
Okay.
negatives and positives. I'm going to start with the positive
Alright.
because it's always good to start positive, right?
Or is it better to
Okay.
start negative and end it positively? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
I think people are going to quit watching our stream before they even get to the positive parts if we start talking about the negative so much.
look, I'm just trying to help
Um,
chat release their dopamine, okay?
And I already talked about neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to adapt. So let's actually go and start it off with the benefits.
For neuroplasticity.
So let's talk about the improved reaction time and hand-eye coordination, which I mean it's been very studied. You have a way higher hand-eye coordination than people who haven't played.
I think it depends on the game. Like
I agree.
yeah, like if you're doing action, super high energy, you have to make decisions quickly, then you're going to be training quick decision making.
There's like your
good,
Call
fast
of
reaction
Duties or
times.
Overwatch type
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I agree. And
Right.
reaction time increases with those types of games as well.
Right.
I'd be curious to see how that actually increases based on real world threats. So, like, would you be able to react faster in the real world? I'm thinking military, but just would you be able to react faster if you played one of these Call of Duty games or Overwatch games? Would you be able to react just as fast in the real world? Would be a real question.
Well, I could give one practical study that you actually mentioned to me a long time ago. Or is that why do you know?
I mean, I was going to bring up a study, but yeah, go for it.
You
I
brought it
was
up to me like
using it as a
months
general
ago,
go.
if not years,
Yeah.
and I remembered it, so I googled it again for this. And it's surgeons
Mhm.
who play video games. Is that the one you were gonna bring up?
Yeah, I was thinking about that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have also saw this,
Yeah.
but they basically did a study on surgeons and tried to test them on surgical related tasks. And they grouped these surgeons into either those who play video games at least 3 hours per week and those who do not play video games at all or very little. And they tested them on surgical related tasks, and like the results are like really big. Like it's a big difference whether or not they play video games. So there was like 3 metrics. There's error reduction. So the surgeons that play games, they made 37% fewer errors compared to the non-gaming surgeons.
Oh, wow.
Their speed was 27% faster, and their overall performance on these surgical tasks was overall 42% better. Which was like that's a big difference. Like
Yeah.
really big difference.
That's
And
crazy.
you said this was 3 hours that they were doing a week, like what they say is the average. I don't believe that, but like the average.
No, they said at least.
At
So I
least
think they were
3,
just trying
okay.
to differentiate between like regular gamers versus people who like maybe pick up a game here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah.
I wonder what games the surgeons are playing. They're playing like
Yeah.
Surgeon Simulator,
Yeah,
like
they're
games.
playing like Surgeon Simulator.
Alright.
They're over here like Tetrising it up.
I was also going to mention the study that I mentioned earlier about they had gamers and non-gamers do tasks that required split-second reactions, and this wasn't in games. And they were able to outperform the non-gamers in like real-world scenarios that required visual tracking. So there's that too. And I was just gonna see what your guys like, like little studies said about things.
Yeah. I mean, well, now that you brought that up, my last comment about the last thing real quick is if I ever need a surgery, I am going to make sure my surgeon's a gamer. That's just if my surgeon's not a
Bro.
gamer,
Yeah.
it's just unacceptable.
You're gonna ask?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask
They're-
before they
They're
pull
wheeling you in.
Yeah, they're
they're
wheeling
wheeling
me
you in.
in. I'm gonna be on my deathbed like, you play games, bro.
You play games, bro.
But I actually was I was watching studies about like the differences between like they tested men and women separately about games and like the different effects like it has based on your gender about like the effects of the brain. And it was it's I don't know how true this is, but it was like a lot of the guys, their dopamine release was like lasting longer, and it was such a simple game. It was clicking dots before they hit a wall, right? And men were just like such a simple game, and their dopamine is just like super high the whole time. And then when it came to women, they would like get like a few minutes in, and then dopamine would just disappear, and it was the part of the brain that was just pure boredom. They were like done with it. They were like, okay, this is stupid. But guys were like, hell yeah!
It just reminds me of those like the videos of the guys finding like a smooth rock on the ground
Yeah!
and being like really excited about it.
Hey, dude, I love those videos because I'm on
They're like,
board.
what the hell are you guys doing?
No. I'm on
Oh,
board.
right,
When I
but-
see a smooth rock, that shit's awesome. Or a cool stick, dude. When I lived in Texas, I had a collection of cool sticks I had found. Okay, that's real shit.
The thing is, I can see exactly what you mean. I understand. I don't think he would.
I used to collect rocks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was my
never mind. She's
thing.
also a rock eater.
Yeah, I didn't eat the rocks.
Oh.
I'm not as
Well,
weird enough
maybe
as
I
you
was-
guys to like collecting sticks, but I did collect rocks.
Oh my
You
god.
probably picked the pretty ones, though.
Yeah.
Okay, we just like the nice
The
round
skippable
smooth ones that have like, no
Yeah.
color. Yeah, the skippable looking ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
I
the
was
rocks
just-
that I picked were like they all look the same, but in my head, I was like, oh, this one is a little bit nicer,
But-
and I would like gift it as birthday presents.
Yo, I used to do that too. I would give cool rocks as presents. It was so funny. But like yeah, it was just that was a really interesting study. Like I like watched while I was at work today, I listened to a podcast about it. About like the difference between not a podcast, a video about it. About like the study between the different like based on your gender. And it was like the moment they got into that, I was laughing so hard. Like women just like it was so fast. Then just a few minutes after clicking some dots, they were done with it.
Dude, that's literally key.
That's me. I mean, maybe. It depends. It depends on what it is.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, that's probably
Yeah.
why guys can play video games all day and not get bored.
Yeah.
I think
That is
video games
not
have a
as
lot
different.
going on with them.
Yeah, that stick thing is different, bro.
The stick thing is
So
different. All right,
The ball,
maybe.
the ball is different than like what we see now. That's so different. That's like Pong versus Valorant. That's what that crap is.
Yeah.
I see them both as the same game.
There's
Oh
okay.
my god.
Okay.
They just made it 3D.
Same difficulty.
Same about pretty much.
All
All right. So next, unless you guys still want to talk about that,
About like the practical or.
specifically with hand-eye coordination.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
hand eye. Okay.
So next, I have enhanced spatial awareness and
Okay.
visual processing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, go ahead.
go for it, Fox.
Oh my.
No, yeah, go. I'm
Okay,
just
I
the
was
host.
yeah, but I was just trying to fill in. It was a blank moment. I was just trying to fill in the air.
Fill it. Fill
Okay,
it.
well, same video. Something else they had discovered is fast-paced games like battle royales, shooters,
Mhm.
enhanced your vision at night. Like people who drove, like had night driving
Really?
positions. Yeah, it was like, and they did a long study about it. They had like I think it was like 30 something percent better like vision for all the people who were like playing games like like active games. It had to be a fast-paced action game for them to receive that kind of benefit from it. But apparently
Interesting.
yeah, apparently night vision. All right, cool. I need to just play more games.
A lot
Like
of
it's
these
I
things
wonder
not
are
why.
night
blind.
vision, more like night awareness.
Night
Yeah,
awareness, yeah.
night awareness. Yeah.
Just
So it confirmed if you play too much video games, you can become Batman. So just want to throw that out there.
yeah, true. Yeah. I also got one of the things I saw was these players were better at mentally mapping out environments.
Ah,
Like they could create maps within their brain a lot easier. I don't know if you guys saw anything with that, but yeah, the
Same stuff.
same thing with you, Fox, related to that tracking moving objects. And when you're in a car driving, things are moving by you faster. So I think maybe that might
Oh
be related.
yeah, true.
I could see it being just like spatial memory in general. Like there's like taxi cab drivers who
Yeah.
they have like an entire map of the city in their brains, and they're really good at having this map in their brains. But that's like a human skill.
Did
That
I watch that with you?
we did talk about that at some point.
I watched a video on this a long time ago.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was with you, but
I don't know either. But that's like a human skill, and that's something that they've tested mice on to see like do they also have this spatial map awareness? And they do, but I'm not surprised that video games improve that because you're kind of practicing it all the time because you're constantly in like a new map, new environment.
yeah.
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 I think it
Yeah.
would be
I was actually about to go into that in the next topic, talking about
Oh.
working memory and stuff.
I was talking about spatial.
Well, spatial awareness is a little bit different than well, I guess it could be related, but like I feel that's more of a memory based thing. Like you know exactly where to go.
I thought
But
that's
maybe
what you said. I thought you said maps of their environment.
they're able to like map out an environment using their like yeah, I guess that's related. Yeah.
Isn't that what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
All right, I don't know.
right.
Peach, what were you gonna
Right.
say?
I would be curious if we ever could like set up an experiment with each of us, and we put out like the times that how often we play video games each week, and then do little tests within each of these fields to see how we all stack up against like the averages. I'd be so
And then we
curious.
electrocute a
interesting.
mouse.
I mean, that's obvious. If we're gonna call
That makes
ourselves
it science.
scientists, we have to electrocute a mouse. I'm pretty sure that's
That has to be
No.
somewhere in
Yeah,
the test in
as-
order
as-
to. We've got to torture a mouse to some extent.
No, I like mice.
She really
it's,
likes
no,
mice.
it's
She
a
has
prerequisite
weird
to be a
fascination for it.
scientist. Like if you don't have that on your like what is it called? Oh my god, I can't. On your resume,
Resume?
Your resume.
my resume, then you're just not a scientist.
Yes.
Dude, when I did biology undergrad, right? And so I was looking for jobs, and I would specifically look at the job description and make sure that there was no like animal experimentation going on because I was just like, fuck that.
I did dissect rats in college.
I did a little bit of dissecting like in high school, college too, but like I hated it.
Dude,
do a
you
lot
guys
of
are
that
lucky.
stuff.
We had to do baby pigs in my biology
I
class.
had to do the
also
baby
did
pig
pigs.
too. Yeah.
We
but-
dissect.
ugh.
I mean, we were biology majors, so we dissected a lot of things.
I actually did that in high school. Like,
A lot of things.
yeah.
I killed and dissected a lot of things. Like we would go out and I would drown like creatures in ethanol.
No, nuh-uh.
Yeah, we had to
You
like
had
find it.
to?
We'd drown it in ethanol.
You're lying.
No, it was like creatures, like little critters that you could pick up and put in there.
What do
And
you-
then,
Critters.
huh? Like different, like bugs or whatever you can get your hands on. But
Oh, really?
yeah, and then we had to do things like that.
Oh man.
Was there a
I don't know if
limit?
I'd do that.
Was there like a limit on what
But
you're allowed to grab?
There's a required amount to what we were allowed to grab. It had to fit in the
beaker.
things that we had to drown it in. It's like a little like
Oh,
container we had to
okay.
put it in.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm thinking you're going out here grabbing birds and shit out of the
Yeah,
woods.
Grab the whole dog, just like
You like chase somebody down with their little tiny Pomeranian, you snatch it up, take the collar for yourself, and then put the thing in there.
holy shit.
it's
yeah.
mine now, bitch. I need to
Dude.
dissect this.
I was sitting here like the image is coming to my head. Carbonic just out in the woods, like, come here, Bambi. Fucking.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, my God, what kind of like barbaric college did you go to? bro?
Just grabs a deer, shoves its head in a fucking pond. Like, I was like, what is he talking about? Because you didn't finish the sentence. You just said, yeah, we gotta go capture an animal and drown it. I was like, what the fuck?
Me
I said
too. I was
ethanol.
like,
Yeah, but you didn't say ethanol fast
And a
enough.
big,
You were
big vat of ethanol. I'm just drowning
You-
shit in.
you didn't say ethanol fast enough. You said just drown it. And then you said, yeah, drown it in ethanol. So the first thing that came to my mind is you're just going out there finding whatever animal you can physically grab and just shove its head in the lake.
dude,
I was like, what
Drowning
the
the other
fuck?
biologists.
Yeah.
we're on the same wavelength, Fox. I literally thought this. I was
You know
doing
what?
the same shit.
Yeah.
What's so stupid is I wasn't thinking deer. You said drown it, and I thought fish, which makes no fucking sense. It's like out of all of the things that you're gonna drown, it's gonna be a fish.
This dude got to block its gills or something.
I have no idea. I was like, your hand motion or something made me think of those people that they hold the fish by its mouth, and so I just thought fish, and it was like, yeah, you got to drown the fish.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because I knew you weren't gonna be drowning like mammals, or I
Oh my
assumed.
God.
So
So funny.
I mean, if I could get my hands on a mammal that would fit in a bottle.
Mecca.
You're not supposed to address the audience.
Oh.
Jesus.
I know, I keep seeing them say things and I want to say something, but
Carbonics like the
yeah, basically we were go for it.
The video of the little girl throwing a tortoise in the pond, setting it free.
When it drowned, she was so
Just
funny.
drowning.
Oh,
Drowning the tortoise.
I didn't realize.
That's like
Doesn't swim.
Mind is like Carbonics like that little girl. He just grabs the tortoise and is like,
Your Spanish accent just suddenly
Setting
came out.
it-
what?
You said fluffy?
No, I
Wait, what
didn't.
the hell?
Wait, what is that on yours?
Yeah, I think Stax is causing mayhem.
Stax, what the hell are you doing? We're running a podcast.
He wanted a
Where's-
grand entrance.
Wait, where am I hearing this at? I don't even see. Oh,
What
it's not showing because of the. Oh,
It's on the overlay, on a different
It's a good
overlay.
OD too.
I got you.
Oh my
Stacks.
God,
dude.
I'm laughing so hard, bro.
Yeah, sorry about the
Even
yeah.
though he's a mechanical genius,
Carbonic
Sorry.
just threw me
madman,
off so
he's still a
hard.
good person.
This motherfucker over here drowning
Remember where
mammals.
I'm at, dude. I think we did whatever the hell we were talking about. Boost.
You think this is a
Wait,
game?
were we? Okay, so the next thing would be working
Bring
memory
that ass
and
here.
attention control.
Okay.
Something that we probably need.
Yeah, we're not focused. This stuff is wrong. I know it's supposed to help us focus. That didn't work. We're not playing enough.
Depends what game you play.
Wrong button.
We play them all. We're all variety streamers, right?
You play them all.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
There we go.
So the things that I saw for this stuff when it comes to like working memory and attention control is like a lot of games where you have to memorize a lot of different things like locations and like what items do what and stuff like that. Typically like a lot of RPGs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then attention control also kind of falls along the same lines of types of games is what I saw. I saw like The Witcher mentioned and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and Final
I
Fantasy.
saw Minecraft and Mario Kart.
What'd you say?
Wait, Peach, what did you say?
No, what'd you say?
Huh, I heard related to attention. I was seeing games related to Minecraft and Mario Kart.
Oh, those make
Yeah,
sense.
that makes sense
Those make
too.
sense.
Yeah,
Does it?
yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
absolutely. All right, well, there's that. Do you have anything to add there, Fox? Do you want to derail us again, please?
I would never derail us. That's not my role here.
I mean, that's the point of the podcast, just to completely derail us from conversation.
The only thing I was gonna throw in there is I don't think Mario Kart's gonna help my attention span. But yeah, continue.
It's not gonna help my attention span because I suck at that game.
Mario Kart's so good at that.
It's great. I just always end up at last.
Play with us, you'll be second to last.
Oh, yeah. You think. Then there's problem solving and strategic thinking.
Yeah.
Problem solving and strategic thinking generally related to games that require, well, strategy. One game that we played a lot of back in the day, Civ 5.
Oh,
Wow.
5. I think you could argue majority of games are strategy. Like even Marvel Rivals type games, like that. There's a strategy involved.
That is definitely a strategy
Yeah.
type game.
But like Civ 5 is like so directly
it's
very
super more like Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
3, but is it Baldur's Gate? It's the third one. But
Yeah.
the newest one's Baldur's Gate 3. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 is another one where there's like a lot of decisions and there's a
Yeah.
lot of planning that goes into it to create a plan and do something, which can very easily translate to real world scenarios where you actually have to kind of like get all the resources, prep your party, get ready for like these are
Yeah.
all things that translate to real coordinated events.
Yeah.
I feel like Tetris should be on that list too, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Tetris, strategic thinking.
It's a
You
different
just have to,
kind, but
like,
yeah.
put like a
Different kind, but
little
yeah.
square down.
There's strategy.
I
There is
know.
long-term strategy.
You put a
There
little
is
long
so much-
stick.
There has to be
Yep.
long-term strategy because that
no.
boy last year literally just beat the game after how long it's been out. There's so
30
much
something.
strategy.
Yeah,
in
I
Texas.
saw
Really?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
he
video I
just
watched.
beat it last year.
Wow.
First person to ever beat Tetris. What was he like?
I didn't know
13?
that was. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, I actually, that was a big moment. A lot of people actually covered that for whatever reason. It was actually made headline news, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was everywhere. Because
Yeah.
nobody beat it.
So my questions for you, since I kind of went through all the things, have you ever played a game that made you feel smarter or like more educated afterward?
That's a good question.
Like, did you play a game and you're like, dude, I feel like a freaking genius.
I mean,
I'm
1,000,000%.
so smart.
1,000,000% when it comes to educational games, which I think are games still.
What?
Educational games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then yeah, of course
No,
you're like,
what
I
was that
feel
second
smarter
part?
afterwards.
Oh, what was the second part?
I just said that I think there are games.
Think what?
Like you were asking this question and like the way you asked it made it sound like we were talking about Mario Kart, Minecraft, but I was gonna throw in educational games.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn. He's like,
Damn.
smiling to me.
Damn. It's funny because on my screen, you two are at the top. You're the top two slots, so you're actually looking at each other on the podcast. It's so fucking
That's actually
funny.
perfect.
Yeah, it was like you two were looking. You were giving each other some like bombastic side eye. It was so funny.
So what about you guys? Did you play a game that made you feel like smarter afterward?
Go ahead,
Beach?
Fox.
Oh, I'm not gonna go into depth because everyone's gonna laugh at me when I say it, but competitive Pokemon. Yep.
It's
Yep.
fair.
Why?
Fair.
Why do you think it made you feel that way?
Because Pokemon is a very simple game on the surface. Very simple. Obviously made for kids. But once you start getting into competitive, there's so many numbers behind the scenes that you have to pay attention to. Like, there's IVs, a Pokemon's initial values. So when you first catch a Pokemon or hatch a Pokemon, it has IVs that differentiate that one you have from every other Pokemon. So, like, you could have two Charmanders. One's faster and hits harder, but the other one's tankier and a little bit more defensive. And then there's EVs, which are effort values, and you have 504 effort values to distribute to your Pokemon stats, depending on like So that there's so much going on behind the scenes, natures, all these held items, and so when you are fighting another player who knows just as much of that information as you do on like a higher level, it to someone who's just watching it, it seems really simple, but there's so much math going on behind the scene. It's just honestly, I love it. I'm a big numbers guy, and so when I see numbers go up, I'm happy.
I want to ask like I know
So,
I know we're on a tangent, but
What?
Peach, go.
I was like, I don't want to have to go on a huge tangent, but like to kind of follow up question with that Pokemon stuff. Would you say you think that you were getting the same effect that you were getting with the older Pokemon games that you do now? And if you had started playing Pokemon with the newer generations, do you think there would have been like any kind of change?
To me personally, Pokemon has gotten more and more behind the scenes, if anything. So back in the day, there weren't as many stats. There weren't as many things you could do to a Pokemon to change it. Uh, but nowadays, there's so much more that goes into it. So I think if I had gotten into it today, I still think so. Yeah, I think I'd be just as like, because I love that stuff. I love games where the picture it gives you is super simple, but behind the scene there's a lot of stuff going on, and so like it really differentiates someone who knows what they're doing and someone who's like, I caught a Dratini, this is mine, I like it, and you fight another person. One of them is obviously going to win.
Fox is a nerd. Now we've established that one.
We've
Damn.
already, well, all four of us, look at the podcast name.
Peach, what do you think? Do you have a is there a game that made you feel like smarter afterward or sharper? Maybe not just smarter, maybe you just felt like you could, get the Spider-Man tingle.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy 12. Because in all Final Fantasy games, I can't go on a tangent here. I'll go to. I love Final Fantasy. Okay, but in Final Fantasy,
Uh-oh.
in Final Fantasy, I'll just say in Final Fantasy, you have stats like Fox is saying in Pokemon. You have to learn which spells affect different creatures. You have to know which bosses aren't going to be affected by what kind of CC. You then like add on like these different like uh not bosses, but they're called like espers that you can bring onto your team, and then you like literally have to make your team the best class because in Final Fantasy 12, like you create your own classes with the characters. So like anytime that I can beat a higher level area or figure out what the bosses are like not immune to and like what the advantages are, I feel like so smart at the end. I love Final Fantasy.
I mean, I'm well, Key, you wanna
Hmm?
add in the
Oh, another. This is gonna sound stupid, but any PvP game, like Marvel Rivals, Smite, that kind of thing, because like specifically related to I guess like maybe like dealing with problem solving under pressure. Like I tend to in these games just bulldoze right through, even if I'm like super fragile character and I go in as freaking invisible woman, but I just want to like try to kill a DPS. I just go for it and I'm just like, "Oh, if I click the button really fast, really hard, then I'll win."
really hard. Just like crushing her freaking.
Yeah, and like I'll just like bulldoze in and it's so stupid because my health is super low compared to this like tank that I'm fighting, and of course they win. And so like I've that's just like one example of just kind of like I feel like I bulldoze in too much when it comes to problem solving, even in real life. And I think doing this and learning, like, okay, you have to like back away and then you go back in, back away, go back in. I think that's learning in a way, teaching me something.
I agree.
I actually have a class example when I was in back in college. I was going to one of the biology classes, and I don't know why we were there's something having to do with rads or whatever, and whatever. And the teacher asked how many rads can kill somebody. They asked the class, and the one person who raised their hand, because before this, I was playing a game called Rust, like the early versions of Rust.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get around 300 to 400 rads, it starts killing you. So I just raised my hand with no reason to be that confident because like it's a video game. Why would they translate to real life? I was like, just about 300 to 400 rads. And people just looked at me like I had 5 heads. Like, why the fuck would you know that?
Probably thought you were like.
It was right. It was the right answer.
Was it
Like
really?
Fallout.
Yeah, it was. It was actually realistic, but there was no reason for me to be that confident about it.
You know, I actually noticed that similar things like we like learn knowledge things
Mhm.
through a lot of these games, specifically more like the RPG games. I think when I first met you, you knew all of the different ore types.
That's from RuneScape.
Yeah, any kind of mining
I
game.
knew about how to make certain different types of ore and stuff like that based off of RuneScape and what
actually
like
so dope.
the different ore types and how they smelt into one another.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
that's one of the things.
I feel like you guys are learning a lot with Schedule 1 too.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't know how-
god! Yeah, we're learning a lot about that. That's actually like pretty realistic the way they
I
do
know.
it.
I
They
think you
really
guys
is.
get it. Like God damn.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think it can teach real world knowledge. I wouldn't I don't know if skills is the word, but it's just like, your knowledge base.
Hey,
Yeah.
Schedule 1 some skills. That's some good skills to have in the back of your head. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
watched you guys play that.
You guys played a little too close. Like taking notes.
Yeah, we were getting really into
God.
it.
All right, that's enough for all the positive stuff.
What?
Wait. You didn't give.
There's so many things.
Yeah, and you
What?
didn't give a video game.
What I did, I gave Rust.
You gave a story about rats, and then you offhandedly said Rust.
I
Rust was
also thought he said
death.
rats. I was like, why does he want to know how many
Rats.
rats it takes to kill
Radiation.
somebody?
Rads, R-A-D.
Yeah, I get it now, but when you first said it, I was like, man, how many rats could I take in a fight? That's a good question.
But yeah, for me, also the PvP games. It gives me the same kind of feeling I get when doing wrestling or jujitsu, stuff like that, where you're basically outsmarting the other players when you're playing these PvP games. And so, like, yeah, Smite, League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, those all kind of play into the me feeling more intelligent by doing good plays or something like that, or being able to play the game better than other people because I've put more hours into it.
Nerd.
Is
So,
it?
yeah,
That's
continue.
so cool. Because of PvP.
Do you guys think you can actually train real life skills with these things, or is that kind of just wishful thinking?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
It's proven.
My typing skills through the roof.
All right, cool. I just devil's advocate, just playing it.
Well, I was thinking more like going back to surgeons, they have VR
Yeah.
surgery,
Oh,
where
yeah.
that's a game in a way. Maybe they could probably gamify it more. I'm sure they're not getting like coins each time that they like successfully do a surgery, but it is a video game. Or is that a video game? Would that count?
Well,
Yeah, I'd say that's a video game.
Surgery is
100%.
a video game, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a video game because they gamify that simulator and they probably like give you money so that you can get better tools or whatever to do better surgeries.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm talking about is like actual legit like surgery simulations that's actual surgeons use to like practice. Would that count as a video game?
Yeah, it's a gamified version of real life, right? Like you are playing it through a simulation. I mean, I give an example about the army. We actually had like games that we would play where like you'd actually kind of get into like what would be a vehicle.
Yeah.
And you would like control the vehicle with like these very live action like controls and stuff like that, and you'd have to destroy the enemy with by coordinating with your team within this simulated vehicle.
Yeah.
Even though it was not really actually moving, you were in like this pod, and you were like all in this pod, like the four of you, and you were all controlling this vehicle. And I would call that a game. It was a lot of fun too, but it was definitely a game.
I think, yeah, I would 100% agree that you can learn things from video games in real life. I've done some stupid shit that I saw in video games to test it.
You would want to test it?
No, I did. When I was a kid, I played this video game where the guy had like a parachute, right? And they like showed you how it like straps to the body and he like jumps down, right? And he lands or whatever. I took my parents, the tent chute that they have, like that goes over the tent, like the cover. It's like that thin
Yeah.
piece, but it has like the ropes. I took that strapped to
Mhm.
my body, climbed up on the roof, and jumped.
Oh no.
I learned
No.
2 things. One, that it does open, like the game, it does open. But 2, like never do that shit again.
Oh my
I don't know how I
god.
didn't break my
Messed it up.
neck.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it kind of did lift you a little bit.
It did, 'cause I didn't I
Was it
didn't
the
break my
second
neck.
story, or how high up was it?
We had a one-story house, and we had like this carport where there was like I was smaller, but like they had this the way I got up is they had this like brick layer that was like right here. So you
Yeah.
could like I could climb up there and then grab onto the roof, and I just like jumped down with my little chute.
Dude, I think that actually lifted you a little bit. I think you would have genuinely broken something if you hadn't.
Yeah, I know
Probably.
it did. I know it
you,
did.
you
Dude,
kids and your games.
I got so scared I hid the thing until when my parents asked, I was like, I don't know.
My
So I
That
didn't
is
know
a
what I was doing.
crazy thing to test out.
Thought it was cool. How
Didn't even
soft it
have
was.
like something to soften your blow at the bottom. Just went full off the side.
There was grass. We lived in North
You put a
Carolina.
mattress down there, like grass.
It's a lot of grass.
I guess it's better than concrete, but like,
I mean, I'm alive.
I mean,
yeah,
at
yeah.
least you had a
You
parachute.
are
I just jumped
alive.
off the roof to practice the little roll people did in video games.
Why did you jump off the
No.
roof
Huh?
for that?
Do what?
Like parkour.
Yeah, you know how
Oh,
like people
parkour.
like in
Yeah,
video
like-
games how they would like land and then do that roll and like just keep
Yeah.
going. I was like, dude, I could totally do that.
Oh no.
I would jump off. I don't think it was a roof. It was like the second story into the pool.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
Dude,
didn't
that
need
works,
water.
that works.
Yeah, that's fine. I jumped off
But-
a roof.
Yeah, mine actually did soften my blow, and I felt no damage. You know, like
The water softened your blow.
yeah, 2 stories. Yeah,
Bro, I would have thought you laughed that thing.
no, you ever been off a high dive?
Oh yeah, I have.
It like depends
That's
on how
about
you
2
land.
stories tall.
If you're doing like
You know,
a
feet forward.
belly
I've been
slap.
cliff diving too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Whoa.
Sorry for
I'm,
sorry.
I am those. I am keeping us on track. All right.
We are on
Next,
track.
we're gonna
This
go
is
over the
track. This
negative
is
stuff.
on
We have
track.
not finished yet.
Oh, wait, you're not done yet. Oh.
No. I think that I just wanted to mention that when we think of these games and we're thinking of the benefits of these games, we're thinking more of like our typical like Mario Kart, Pokemon, Marvel Rivals, and that stuff. But there are so many games that people don't think of games like Duolingo for learning, Duolingo for learning languages.
Yeah.
They totally gamify it. You do your little learning session, and at the end you get a bunch of gems, and then you can use those gems to make it that your streak lasts longer and does all these things. Like Duolingo has absolutely gamified it, but people don't think of it as a game. And then there's also like brain games like Luminosity, and there's also like habit trackers where you have like a cute little creature, and as you complete your habits every single day, your creature gets like happy, or you get new clothes for it, or I don't know what it is. But yeah, I feel like there's so many things that even if video games don't, I think we've already agreed that video games do have like positive benefits with your cognition, but even if they don't, you can still use the addictive quality of video games to learn. And that's all I want to say.
I just read the Duolingo just threatens you. Yeah,
It's
if you
funny.
think you're
They threaten-
straight,
funny.
they threaten the shit out of you. They're like,
Dude, I'm woken up to like 5 messages from Duolingo, and they're like, "Are you still there? Your streak is gonna end in 5 hours." I'm like, "Calm down." So and so's beating you. I'm like, I had to.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
had to
the
call
screen is
Duolingo,
just
bro.
a picture of a skeleton
install it.
bird.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's been so long.
Exactly, and it was like 5 days, and it was so dramatic.
It's just a skeleton
So
of a
dramatic,
bird on
bro.
there. I was like, what the fuck?
Bro.
Yeah,
I
On
was
vacation.
This
so
sounds like an
bad. I be
intense
getting
Neopet.
messages, man. So bad. But I do like the apps you guys are talking about. Fox and I actually just got into that because it was iPhone. There's an app called Habitica where you can set up
Oh, I've heard
different
of that.
it's so good because you create like a character, and then once you hit a certain level, you make it
Yeah.
a class, and you fight like bosses. But the way you fight bosses is you set up yeah, like that. You set up different tasks to
Yes.
complete each
Yeah.
day.
I've actually
We
played
love
that game.
app.
Yeah,
That
that-
app is so good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
I have,
exactly what I
like-
was
I have
thinking.
like daily tasks I set myself to do, and then like
He had 4 tasks today.
no, that's tasks. This is
Does that say
no.
drink water in it?
One of them was
Yes.
drink water.
Yeah.
Hey, you can
Yeah.
have whatever
Yours is
tasks you
drink
want to
water.
have.
Yeah, but hey,
Drink.
that's tasks. That's tasks. This is dailies. I have others, okay? Listen.
See, another
Listen.
one is have a bowel movement. You know, like eat food, go to sleep, wake up in the
Do hair.
morning. Right.
I love that app.
Oh.
It's so good.
So good, dude.
All right, I'm gonna bring down the mood now. I
Can I
want
say one
everyone
more
to feel
thing?
bad about themselves.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Because you're like jumping so, but like there's so much. I honestly looked up way more about the positives than the negatives, honestly.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
But also, I was reading
You did.
about how playing video games can help you cognitively appear as if you're younger. Like there were
Yes.
they did some studies where they were looking at multitasking performance on people, and like they had them play video games, a specific game where it was like they were like driving on a winding road, and then they had to deal with go versus no go signs. It was like multitasking, whatever, and they were able to surpass untrained 20-year-olds, which I think was
Really?
cool. Yeah. And then this other study, and this is the last thing I'll say, it was looking at people who frequently play, this was Minecraft and Mario Kart, like those types of games, and they were performing cognitively on par with people 13.7 years younger than them. And these were like older people, like 65 to 80-year-olds. So I thought that was really cool. It's like there's brain games for a reason, but even fucking Mario Kart. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Fuck Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, but fuck Mario Kart.
You're just mad 'cause you lose. You lose
No,
every game.
no,
Mario Kart,
no,
Mario
okay,
Party, Mario Party.
Here's the thing. You
You're
can
just
be
trash,
in first
you're trash.
place. I'll be in first place for so long and get slammed by a fucking blue shell every time. Every
That's
time.
because-
It's
That's
bullshit.
because this man is all chilling in first place, and I hide my first player shell, and I go, okay, shoot that bad boy out and win.
I hate Mario Kart.
Mario Kart is strategy. You never play for the strategy. You just go. You're like,
Yeah, it's a racing
No.
game. I get in first and I get hit. We're going off track. Okay, sorry.
no.
No, there's definitely
Bad.
strategy to Mario Kart.
This
Strategy.
went
You just
from
don't know.
this just went into personal traumas with fucking
Yes,
Fox over here.
yes, I hate Mario Kart. I love it.
Well,
I'll play
there's a negative effect right there. No, great segue. The next thing we're gonna be going over is negative effects and controversies of gaming,
Okay.
and we'll go more into the controversies later. But first of all, let's talk about the amount of screen time and mental fatigue, and screen time also
Fatigue?
going into the physical fatigue as well. So let's go over for it. We can start with the mental fatigue. I know Key's got a lot to say about that.
Oh. Well, that's more like anecdotal, like my personal experience.
All these are anecdotal. Well,
No, they're not.
a lot of our stories are anecdotal. Yeah,
Are they?
like talk about your personal experience with mental fatigue.
I guess, I mean, so when I play video games for longer than 3 or 4 hours. I feel like my threshold is increasing the more we stream. Because it used to be like 2 hours where I'd be like, all right, I'm done. I physically have to stop and go on a walk or just not look at the screen or at least move to my standing desk. I don't know what it is, but I just like feel like like not good.
Yeah.
But I feel that way even like if I'm just on my phone for a long time. Like if I'm scrolling, it's that same feeling of like brain fog when you're scrolling for a long time. And I guess I would probably feel that if I was doing normal work too. But normal work, like I usually take breaks. And for games, like you're doing that 4 hours straight. You're not taking any breaks.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. For me, it depends on what type of game I'm playing. If it's a game that requires me to like think a lot, I don't feel like I get the brain fog as much or anything like that,
I
or the mental fatigue.
agree. I agree. Because your brain is like actively working and you're engaged.
Mhm. That being said, what it does link to is going into something that you actually prevent: eye strain and poor sleep quality.
Mm.
Something that Key does, which is very smart, is she has a
Blue light filter.
blue light filter, and like it's been already shown that blue light, a high amount of blue light exposure before bedtime is going to make you have a harder time falling asleep. Maybe not for Fox, but for us normal people. But that would impact your life in a bunch of different ways. Going from testosterone to other things. We can deep dive into the effects of bad sleep on the body and all these other things
That's
later.
like a
but
whole
that-
podcast
that's
episode.
a huge thing. But yeah, so eye strain and poor sleep quality, which can lead to physical and mental detriments as well.
I think even if you have the blue light filter,
Mhm.
even if you're doing like a chill game, just the addictive quality of wanting to continue playing the game late into the night, aka you, aka Stacks, just like playing.
Damn, Stacks catching straight.
Oh yeah, I'm super calling out Stacks. Going to bed at like 6 in the morning, playing Rivals all night.
And you too, Raina.
I don't know about Reina. No, but like, yeah, maybe Peach, maybe everybody. I mean, myself too. I'm also playing till super late for my own personal bedtime. But like, I
All
think
people
we're
have that.
definitely getting less sleep.
Yep.
When we're really into a game, and then we're just like playing late into the night. But I was mostly calling you and Stacks out because you guys sometimes play until literally like 4 in the morning.
Guess who's with us? Peach usually.
No. Don't include me in that stupid shit you guys do.
Damn.
Don't pretend you're not in our den.
I'm literally not.
Okay.
I know I
Um,
100% am.
So the other thing, physical health problems. What comes with gaming? Maybe not other types of gaming, like VR gaming or whatever, but the sedentary behavior.
Mhm.
If you game for a long period of time, you're going to be sitting for a long period of time. Usually,
Yeah.
you could have a standing desk, which would help as well. Working out in between you doing gaming sessions as well would
Exercise redeems.
keep you active. Yeah, exercise redeems. Not everybody's a streamer, obviously, but like that's what we do. Fox turned off his redeems. Yeah, poor posture. This also leads to poor posture. Oh, sorry. Continue, Fox. You want to talk about how you turned off all your redeems?
I have a physical job now. I get home. I don't want to. I worked out all day.
All right, you hearing these excuses? All right. Yeah, but poor posture. That's a huge one. Typically when you're in game and you get really engrossed, you're like up there, But I have to remind myself quite a few times. I need to like lean my backpack or put it in a standing desk so you're not like just sitting here with either hunched over or even lying back. You're not actually supporting your body weight by just sitting in your chair. You're not developing muscles there.
Mm.
So I know I was doing this for a little bit, but like sitting without a chair, without back support, we did that for a little bit
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
just so we could train those muscles. What
If you
else?
sat like
I
like
mean,
I sat, you
Mhm.
you have
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
for
Let
sure.
me pull it.
Yeah,
You're too
Yeah,
high
we need a
up.
demonstration.
You're too high up, bro. Okay, so I swear to God, if everybody sat like me, okay. So here's the chair, okay? Here's the chair, okay? This is my head, and then my feet hang here. So,
My God.
but this part's not here, right? Okay, so I'm holding my back up, and my feet are on my desk. I swear to God, your back will be strong as hell, guys. I swear to God. I have no back problems, none at all.
I don't. Most people can't play games like that. I'm gonna be honest, Beach. Like that is
You'll be
not the
so
norm.
good. You'll be so good. Your video game skills be good. When you're leaning back, no, but when you sit back up, you're like a god. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, because like the change.
Yeah,
You
like,
got so
trying.
good at playing it, like the most gremlin posture.
There's that, and there's the thing that video gamers get accused of all the time: not going outside, exercise.
Mm,
You know, like when you think gamer, you think somebody who doesn't work out, somebody who doesn't go outside. I know we kind of like change the idea of that a little bit because we're so athletic, you know.
No, we're Cartman WoW episode. That's us.
Cartman wishes he's as big as me. But yeah, I mean, I hopefully like. I mean, I've been seeing a change at least a little bit in that it's not just people who are out of shape who play games anymore. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty much everybody. I feel like you have
Yeah.
a lot more of a wider range of people, but gaming does take up a lot of time. You just got to find out like good times to exercise as well. So like I know after work, like that's like all you want to do is just freaking chill, but it's probably a good idea to maybe get some exercise first and then go to like chill and play some games because you're not going to want to after you start chilling, right?
I feel like you could argue that like this isn't an excuse, but I think people who are not playing video games are also probably just sitting around not doing anything either.
That's fair. That'd be like watching shows and stuff like that.
Right.
There's always I feel like that's just kind of like the American kind of like
Yeah,
lifestyle
yeah.
now. It's just what do you do to chill? Most people watch things or play video games. There's like that's pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
exercise, go to the gym. Some people do that, but like I feel that's a lot more of the rare minority. But maybe I'm wrong. I feel like a lot of people I know go to the gym, like you guys, Fox and Peach. You guys both go to the gym as well. So
Brung like brung.
Strong like Brum.
I think it's also helping the community too that a lot of the top streamers have started like working out or are like really big into workouts. Like I don't know if you guys have ever watched him. He's got like a lot of things because of how he acts on stream. But Tyler One, this dude is jacked as all hell, and he actually started setting up streams where he would do like a workout competition stream, like a tournament
Nice.
with people, and he inspires so many people. He even has like his own line of it's like C4. I can't remember what C4 is, like a whatever C4 is. He has his own line of that, and like he does these things and he hypes people up, and a lot of his like viewers will send him pictures, and he's like, this is where I am, and he's like, yeah, bro, you got this, keep going, and then they send updates. So I
Nice.
feel like that's really helping with the gaming community now. So a lot of us aren't as stagnant.
Believe it or not, we were actually talking about Tyler One today.
We were.
Yeah, the
God.
legal it like that was us talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember the name.
Yeah, did chess. Yeah, whatever. We were talking about Tyler One today.
That's so cool.
So it seems to me that it doesn't seem to be for at least these conditions, it doesn't seem to be the gaming itself. It's basically how long and how often you're playing, and whether it's cutting into your sleep and exercise. And
Yeah.
that would be the fix for those conditions.
Well, probably same thing with food too. Like if you're playing for a really long time, you tend to just not eat. Or people tend to not eat and then they like realize they're really hungry, but they want to keep playing. So then they just like grab some chips or something.
But I was kind of always like that. Even like when I didn't have time for games, and I was doing when I was in the army. Like I just wouldn't. I just don't. And before that, when I was in high school, I've just never really eaten a whole lot.
Yeah, but now that you have access to food,
Yeah. I had
when
access to
you're
food in the army.
playing, you don't eat.
Well, I had
But
access
if
to
you
army when I
weren't
wasn't in the
playing, you
field,
would
but
have eaten.
when I have access to food, when you know, it's like even back then, I just don't eat a lot.
Mm.
That's just me.
I'm right there
I
with you.
don't
I
need to
don't
eat a
eat.
lot, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
I can relate. High five. I don't eat. I eat like a bird.
Why would you eat a bird?
They taste really good. Chicken. You know. You gotta drown them first.
All
You
right.
taught me that.
The next thing,
Was it
attention
national?
span and cognitive overload.
Overload.
Overload. Okay, so for certain types of games, there are some research studies that show that the fast paced and the consistently stimulating ones that have a ton of stuff going on like all the time can lead to shorter attention spans and difficulty maintaining focus in other tasks that are not as stimulating, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So this is a good segue to talk about what you were talking about before when you were saying the dopamine thing. So this is a good segue into dopamine levels.
Oh, with the
With
overstimulation.
the overstimulation, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing with any like high dopamine
Mhm.
activity. So like video games, but also scrolling, anything like that. That's super high dopamine, really quickly, quick release. Um, that's gonna make it really hard for you to then do longer tasks. I mean, exactly what you just said. So yeah, no, nothing more.
You guys got anything with that?
Go ahead, Fox.
No, it's just making a dun sound.
I would.
Yeah.
What the
Great. Thank you,
I,
Fox.
I think I'd be really curious because I didn't look too much into this, but it's talking about shorter attention spans versus how long we're playing video games and how that can have an effect on us. But the average age of a gamer right now in the world is 35 years old. And the 35-year-old, the millennials have a longer attention span than the generation that's behind them, like Generation Z or Alpha or whatever the hell they are. So I'm curious like how like who that's affecting the most because it's not affecting the majority of gamers if the average is like 30 something. So I'm like so curious like
Yeah.
on that. Sorry you guys got ready. Go ahead.
Damn, I got.
No.
Oh man, it always feels weird to get raided during these podcasting. So thank you for the raid, Stealth Fox. We were in the middle of a podcasting. We don't really interact with the chat as much, but it's kind of hard to ignore the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Stealth Fox.
Sorry, guys. I don't know.
No. I saw it and I saw the pause, so I understood what happened.
Carbonic just looking at
Thank
chat
you
like,
so much. I hope you had a great stream. I was like,
don't say anything.
You might as well stay distracted for a second. What is that supposed to mean?
What?
okay. All right, so that's basically right now we're going over the video games effects on the brain. We are on the negative side of things, so I don't know if you guys want to stay for that to see the negative effects, but we did go over all the positive effects, and there's a lot of them. So don't think it's just negative, all right?
Told you should have ended on positive, bro.
I know you should end it on positive. So is it gaming that's shortening the attention span, or is it how we balance gaming with life tasks? Is my question. Like maybe it's just that people became too engrossed in playing these types of games,
Oh, damn it.
and there's no freaking way I got rated again. What in the
That's what
actual
Stealth
fuck?
Fox
Sales
was saying.
Sales was saying is happening.
That's exactly what they were saying. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the raid, Handyman. I saw you followed me and I had no clue who you were, but now I think I'm starting to understand a bit. Thank you so much for the raid. Goodness gracious, this had to be during podcast time. I usually engage a lot more with the audience, but because we're doing a podcast, I tend to not engage as much during this time period. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Stealth Fox. I'm assuming you recommended Handyman to raid. So thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are doing a podcast. We only do this once every other week. So
Once, yeah.
yeah,
every
usually
2
we're
weeks,
playing
there's
games.
one podcast.
Stealth Fox would know. We've had Stealth Fox in quite a bit recently.
But thank you guys very much, and thank you for the follows.
I begged him to raid. Thank you, Stealth Fox.
And I see everybody who's following me. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
All right. Oh man, I've lost all my train of thought. Okay. Do you actually mention this? Wait, maybe you did mention this. Wait, did you want to go off of the last point of attention span and cognitive overload, or are you guys good with that?
I'm good.
We're good.
Okay. The next one is aggression and violence. A typically older study when it came to that stuff, if you don't remember. If you remember the early studies of them being like, oh yeah, playing gameplay spikes your aggression, right? And I don't know what you got in terms of that key, but looking at the long-term evidence, and it's been shown to be weak or inconclusive, the evidence for video games being linked to violence. So the meta-analysis suggested that the violence in video games does not actually depict criminal behavior or chronic aggression. That's what I got from the long-term studies.
Interesting. I'm not surprised that people were confusing it, because when I was reading like the cons or whatever, and it said there was an article that said, yes, violent video games, it can make kids desensitized to violence, have more aggressive thoughts and behaviors. And it said that it like elevated cortisol levels, which is stress. It's activating the sympathetic nervous system, so that's like fight or flight, stimulating the brain's reward system, and disrupting neurotransmitter balance. And I thought these were all like big bad words that like nobody wants, but like this, I think, was just in the moment. It's like, yeah, if you're playing a game that's high intensity, then like, yeah, your stress might be higher, and yes, your reward system might be activated, and et cetera, et cetera. But like, does that actually matter? Does that linger on? It didn't seem like it. So
yeah, like nobody's. I mean, everything you do, even in you could make those same arguments for like actual sports, like IRL sports. Like those you have the same triggers. Your amygdala is going to be triggered the same way as if you were going to play a competitive PvP game, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all the same stuff. It's like, well, do sports make people aggressive? I mean, maybe.
Well,
like,
I think they're thinking more of like GTA. Like you're shooting somebody, you're stealing cars, you're doing all these things.
Sure, yeah, Grand Theft Auto, like simulated violence. I guess the idea is that the repetitive act of seeing violence or something may affect somebody's empathy towards violent actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't seem like that was the case for people who played video games, and for these, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you saw anything related to like certain types of video games that were played, and there were different outcomes, or what?
They just said violent video games, and they like
Okay,
created
so
a
they
whole
said specifically
acronym for
violent.
it. VVGs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, those violent video games or whatever. I mean, were they playing COD? Is that what they're playing? If that's a competitive PvP game, it's going to be triggering like different responses.
Yeah. I think it is possible that it could desensitize you to violence. But you could also potentially argue that by doing these things in game, you're like what's the word? You're like releasing the impulse to
Yeah.
do them.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think it could go either way in a way.
Okay. I mean that's a good point. So there's that, but there's also well, I'm about to talk about it in a second. Let me ask first about the Grand Theft Auto question. Do you guys think Grand Theft Auto makes someone violent?
No. I don't think so. I agree with what Key said. I think honestly it probably gets that out of people. It definitely desensitize you to it. But like so does like growing up in a bad like parent situation, right? Or
Mhm.
like a violent household.
No,
But
absolutely.
a lot of the time people like come out of that situation a better person, right? Because they've learned like, okay, that's kind of like not what to do. Like
Mhm.
I don't think it directly causes it. I do think it like yeah, it desensitizes you to it, but I don't think it causes it, not directly.
All right. Well, my next topic was about desensitization, but we kind of they kind of
Eh,
like come together with that. So yeah, the whole idea that certain types of elements in games would make you more desensitized towards like pain, suffering, and like consequences of your actions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any good evidence for that, but there are things that like I can see why people would think that, right? Like for scary games, if you consistently desensitize yourself to horror games, sorry, like if you consistently desensitize yourself to stuff that's horrific, will you not have the correct response when in a real life situation, you're actually in one of those situations where your body needs to go into fight or flight?
I don't know.
You know, like,
I
or
don't know.
or would you also? But would it also be more of a benefit? Like you stumble onto a very
mhm,
gory, a really bad situation, a really messed up situation, but because you're like
Hmm.
like you're not going to freeze up like a normal person who hasn't seen all of that
Yeah.
would, right? Maybe it would help your fight or flight, like because oh, I've seen this, I'm out, like goodbye,
Yeah.
like someone has killed these people very recently, I'm gone, right? So like
Mhm.
maybe because you've seen so much of that, you won't have that immediate freeze and where you're just like you're frozen in fear,
mhm.
you know?
Yeah, like you're
Yeah.
able to like think
To
more
see it in real
rationally
life.
because you're desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a seeing in
That's
real
a good
life is
point.
what you're saying?
Yeah,
Hmm.
like if you
I
stumble upon like a scene, yeah.
Oh, like a dead body or sorry, deep are we allowed to say that? Dead body or something?
I don't know.
And you think like in like COD games, you like kill a lot of like people, sometimes innocent, sometimes not, but like there's that distinction too. Um, but and you become more desensitized to it in the game, but I don't think that necessarily translates to real life.
It doesn't.
So
Well, so to play devil's advocate, I
okay,
guess.
here comes the devil.
I think that it is possible that playing these types of games could normalize these types of things. Like, for example, Schedule 1. We are playing a drug dealing simulator. And I think it does normalize it to some extent, where it's like, let's say we went to a drug dealer house in real life. It would just be like, oh yeah, they're like grabbing the little weed nuggets and they're putting it in the baggie. And like, yeah, I've seen that before. I've saw it in Schedule 1. So like I wouldn't be surprised if it normalizes certain things that maybe shouldn't be normalized.
I don't think that would normalize that for me. I don't think that would normalize a drug house for me. I'm gonna be honest. If I see that, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
You would know what's going
I,
on though. You
so
would know like, oh yeah, that little
there's a,
thing is this and that is this. That's
there's a
what they're
difference
doing.
between having knowledge about something and knowing something happens and being desensitized to the actions that are being done. Right? Like, I'm not gonna feel any less weird being in that drug house because I played a Schedule 1 game, right? Just like I'm not gonna feel any weird about somebody getting shot in the face next to me because I
True.
played Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be ducking for cover. Like, I just
No carbonic, you're gonna like reach for your Glock in your pocket.
Yeah.
You'd be like you're shifting through your weapons.
Carbonic is checking to see if
Like,
his
where-
ult's
where's
on
my where's my
cooldown.
inventory?
You're like pushing tab repeatedly.
So I don't necessarily think this. I don't think video games makes like players more cruel by any means.
Yeah.
But it might just mean that during gameplay, it reflects more emotional distancing. You know, like I think that's more of an emotional distancing thing
Mm.
in game than it is something that's in real life can be attributed. Just like for scary games for you, you don't get scared in scary games.
Yeah.
But in real life, you jump
Yeah.
3 feet in the air if we're in broad daylight and I'm 10 feet away from you and you turn around and I'm there. I'm just
What?
like a walking jump scare apparently. But
True.
so yeah, and I question like so we're adults and games really came out later when we got older, like really good ones by the way, like not we had games when we were kids, but not like at the same level of realism and stuff. I wonder how it affects kids where they have a lot more neuroplasticity
Mm.
when they're children because their brains are still developing. Whether it affects them a lot more being at a younger age when they're first introduced to these realistic graphics when it comes to violence and other stuff.
Maybe.
Good, yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're adults now. Like, it's not gonna affect me any. Like, I see somebody get shot in COD, I'm not gonna want to do it to somebody else. Like, it's a completely different feeling.
Yeah.
This is coming from somebody who's in the military. All right, so I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add on desensitization? All right. What about? Oh, I
Yeah.
heard something. Okay. Next one. What about toxicity and harassment in online gaming?
Bullying.
This shit happens from online to real life. And there are cases online of people literally taking this shit to real life. I don't know if you guys remember.
There is.
There was these two popular streamers, both are gamers, who got into it. I don't want to say their names, but like they got into it. It was so bad, the toxicity was so bad that one guy showed up to the other guy's house with a gun and threatened him. That they took it offline into real life because that was just the toxic environment that they created. That's absolutely insane to me. I hate it. I can't with the toxic shit. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, that was part of it. Don't apologize. That's exactly what we want. Oh, what else you got? Anybody else want to talk about it? Let's start with the toxic behavior. So just trash talking, trolling, and other unsportsmanlike conduct in games. We can talk about specifically a recent example we've been playing with Marvel Rivals.
Oh, I
Peach?
forgot to ask you about that. I overheard to ask. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
Shit, that's what happened.
we'll go into the details of that later. But
No,
like,
you did that to me on purpose.
what? I just told her to get on voice chat. It's funny to listen to the people because you get you get to hear people and the reasons why people just stopped. You would have not had any idea what was going on.
Okay, but I wouldn't have had to hear anything because I don't ever turn on voice chat because I know how toxic it can be. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah. So there's that. So I feel like you'll find that a lot more with people who've never played sports. Because I feel like the first thing you learn when you're playing sports is you have those face-to-face interactions after you're done with the match and you shake hands and you're like, good game and stuff like that. I would never in my life dream of beating somebody in a wrestling match and then afterward be like, GG, too easy. Like,
GG easy.
easy. Thanks for the free win.
Teabag him
It's
on
like
the spot.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people. It's just never like ever been in like a sport before in their lives or something like that. It's like why are you trash talking the enemy team is like. But maybe I'm just born in a different time. I don't know. I don't understand you young kids.
I think people act very different on the internet than they do in real life,
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So, like those same people that are saying "GG, too easy" in real life, maybe they are playing sports and maybe they are like super respectful because like real life is different from the internet. But you could go back and argue like, oh well, it's normalizing trash talking, so that in real life, then you end up trash talking because you did it online.
I think there's an immediate negative response to that though, that kind of turns people off from it. And I don't mean like physical, like you get decked for it, but like people will, like you're gonna get more of an aggressive
Yeah.
response, which humans inherently do not want to fight.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to fight everybody they see. It's not conducive to living.
Yeah.
So when you're actually in front of somebody face to face, people are most likely not going to trash talk, even if they've like been online their entire time.
Yeah.
You'll find that people are a lot more comfortable doing that stuff online versus what you just said. I don't know why I'm repeating what you just said. That makes no sense. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. But yeah, keyboard warriors, is that what they call them? Is
Yep.
that what people call them?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of gamers are like introverts. They're not gonna do that stuff in real life, anyways.
True.
Yeah. It's just always funny to see it, like, and I can just imagine like what these people look like in real life.
You hear them speak, and instantly an image like comes in your
That's
head.
like
Like,
I was like an image in my head. I was like, oh man, like I mean, I'm not gonna tell this kid off. Like, this is probably like a kid or something,
Tips
But like,
fedora.
they should probably do some sports to learn what like a normal human interaction is. Anyway, that's I'm off my soapbox. What about like targeted harassment versus I mean, typically when you're in like let's talk about like COD lobbies or whatever, it's typically like more male dominated spaces, so you'll typically see more against females. Of course, the vocal minority, I feel like most people are off on comms, but like you definitely do hear the occasional sexist remarks towards females whenever they come in voice chat.
Yep.
I think that
make me a
people
sandwich.
probably just try to say anything that they think will hurt the other person.
Exactly.
So that's just
They'll
like,
target anything. Like if I came on with an Indian accent, I'm sure that would get me like in
yeah.
like come in as well, right? Like exactly. But yeah,
So
and I think that's more like it's probably more just trolling than it is like they actually mean anything by it.
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
like if you actually ask them their actual thoughts, or if you probably knew their actual thoughts, they were like, "Oh, I'm just trying to get this guy," All right, so is that something that we need to worry about in terms of the platform when it comes to video games and stuff like that? When it comes to PvP? Or is that just kind of like one of those things that just comes with the anonymity of
I think it's
doing online gaming?
I think it's just anonymity of online. I think even if gaming wasn't a thing, imagine if gaming wasn't, but the internet was, people would be trash talking on Facebook, man. I see old people who've never played a video game in their life trash talk over Facebook Marketplace. It's just
Yeah, true.
I think it's the
Yeah.
anonymity of it. I think you take out gaming, it's a human nature issue. So I don't think it's gaming like related.
People are very brave when it comes to them not having their face or being known or whatever like that. Like people are really brave when they
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
have to be.
Mhm.
I think that having video games, it opens a lot of opportunities to be exposed to trash talking though. Like I'm not going on Facebook Marketplace every day, right? But if you're like a kid, I guess if I'm trying to think like through a parent's lens, even if the kid is not going to go and start trash talking in real life, I would still be worried about them if they're like sensitive or something, like feeling bad about themselves because like some other kid is trash talking them. And I think that they would probably hear that a lot more through video games than they would in real life, or Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. True.
All right. So overall, I mean, I guess when it comes to that stuff, not really it's not really the responsibility of the game to make it like, you know, more
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, they have their specific kind of like guidelines where they have bannable stuff in it when it comes to like speech and stuff within the game. But other than that, like I think it's like more of the responsibility of like the players individually without throughout the game to like, you know,
Yeah.
police
Yeah.
other people, police
Yeah.
around.
I think it's so prevalent though because like I'm very rarely do I see someone get punished for that crap that they say. That's probably
Yeah.
part of it too.
Yeah.
I guess it has to be bad enough for another player to report them.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but
what happened
like
with us.
yeah, reporting typically ends with like a mute ban kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of
like
Yeah.
really dumb.
which I mean makes sense if they're saying things, but for us it wasn't even we can talk about it later, but it wasn't like a mutable thing that we were trying to report this person for.
We weren't trying to get him muted.
They
We were
just
trying to get
didn't
him banned.
they just didn't play the game. And they're talking the entire time. They're like, nope, I'm not playing because we have this other character on here, and I don't like that other character, so I'm not going to
Oh
Really?
play the
my
game.
god.
This is
What
before
happened?
the game even started, so he
Oh.
was already quit. I was like,
Jesus.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know why you're playing this game. All right, so next we're going to talk about addiction and
Mm.
compulsive use when it comes to video games.
Yeah.
Dragging back in the dopamine.
Look at me to say something. I mean, I feel like we all we all know it, right?
Yeah.
Video games can absolutely be addicting. The reason why is because of like the dopamine. Sometimes there's like gambling like mechanics and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, video games can be addicting. And then there's all the negative effects associated with that, which I feel like we already talked about: sleep disruptions, not eating well, not exercising, social isolation.
Yeah.
Unless you're streaming on Twitch, then you get a lot of social interaction.
Yes, you do. So yeah. So prioritizing games over your own like life and as well as other interests that you maybe
Yeah.
previously had.
Yeah.
So like basketball. Like maybe you used to do basketball and now that you've been playing more video games, it's been taking over your basketball activities and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and your social interactions and stuff. There are, however, social games.
Yeah, there are. I feel like not as many people play those though.
Yeah, maybe not. All right, let's see. What else did I want to talk about here? I wanted to go more into. Okay, I think I'm done with the negatives, and I wanted to talk about using games as more of like tools. I didn't know whether to put this in positive. I didn't put it in positive or negative. This is more like kind of just there. But I read a lot of things about games being used as mental health tools.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when it came to depression, anxiety, PTSD, and ADHD,
Really?
and I'm seeing more like I didn't put this in positive and negative because I'm seeing positive and negative effects by using these tools with these things.
I've heard of them using that for PTSD or maybe some anxiety, like you're trying to desensitize the person by exposing them to this thing via the video game. But how does it help with like depression and other stuff like that?
So depression and anxiety, I'll just talk about those together. Having games that have relaxing visuals and like slower paced mechanics,
Oh.
say like Stardew, provide like levels of emotional relief and
Okay.
mental focus that don't really. So it's not really not like fast-paced shooters and stuff like that.
Right,
It's not gonna
right.
help your anxiety. But like things that are like slower and maybe more methodic and maybe
Yeah.
more relaxing has been shown to help people with those types of things.
I could see that.
Um, they actually developed a game in New Zealand that was used for cognitive behavioral therapy, which they use techniques from like an RPG format to help teens manage depression. And this is
Oh.
actually like a thing they did in New Zealand for specifically that. Of course, we heard all like about the PTSD things using like recreating the environments that these people felt unsafe in using I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys saw this using like VR and stuff like
Yeah.
that in a more controlled setting so that they can process their trauma a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys you
Yeah,
guys seen all those
I
things.
listened to some of that. Yeah, I was listening to some of that. That's
So when
kind
you
of
were,
pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
oh what?
I was
What?
like, all I said was that's pretty sweet. Like we can do
Oh,
that now.
Yeah,
so you
yeah, absolutely. Continue.
you said you
Sorry.
didn't put in video games effects on like depression in. Was it your opinion that you didn't put it in positive or negative, or just because you saw different
Well,
like
there's
research
something I'm
on
going
it?
to talk about after going on the different reasons as to why they added those in there.
Okay.
But a little bit opinionated, a little bit me sharing the opinion of some other people,
Okay.
as in researchers and stuff. Uh, yeah, might as well just talk about it. So you have the idea of immersive escape, which is what all these games are doing, right? But you have immersive escape, and then you also have unhealthy avoidance. And it can get to the point where you're actually just using video games as a way of relief and this temporary escape, but you can
Mm.
do it to the point where you're completely avoiding these real world problems by absorbing yourself into video game as a way of coping.
Yeah.
I could
It
totally
also
see that.
it also helps because like people who are depressed feel like nothing they do is going to accomplish anything. But say you're playing something like Stardew Valley and you have like the community center. You go in and you do something and you complete a task. It makes you at least feel like you're separated from the crap that's going on in your real life and you actually did something. So something mattered somewhere. I feel like it does help.
I feel like there's a I think video games like that is a form of escapism in the same way that reading a book or watching a movie, watching a show, like immersing yourself in a different world. Video games would probably be a one touch further based like just like how you said, but yeah. Is that a bad thing though? I mean,
I think there's a level of a more of an addiction that you can get by using excessive gaming as a coping mechanism
yeah,
Agree,
for
100%.
these deeper emotional issues.
true.
In that, if you're just doing this to cope with it, you're also isolating yourself from other people, you know? Like, instead of dealing with this trauma, you're just excessively playing video games. You're now just escaping that trauma, never really engaging with it, whatever that trauma may be. Every specific example is going to have like different things that you need for that trauma, but you're all by excessively playing video games to get over it, you're going to be addicted to that sense in a lot more because not being inside the game is going to when you're in the game, you feel a lot safer. You have that emotional support within the video game. You're going to be a lot more addicted to it.
Mhm.
And you're not going to get the help that you need to actually get over those issues.
Yeah.
It could help on the opposite side though. And I'm going to use Stardew because I think it's a really good game for this situation. But like, say if I was like really depressed, and I started playing Stardew, where part of the game's mechanic is to have a social interaction with some of the people in the game. I feel like something could be said to where maybe you start seeing like I'm talking to these characters and I'm getting good responses. I'm forming these relationships and it's making me feel good. what if I could eventually get myself to step outside and form those same things in real life so that I could have this like permanent feeling and not just within the game? I feel like it
I
could happen.
question the ability for you to be able to do that if your interaction is through setup dialogue, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're just clicking a button over and over. There's no like fluidity to these conversations where you can't ask questions and they can respond, or a direct response to exactly what you are feeling that you would say. There's very like set dialogue there.
Am I the only person who immediately thought of AI girlfriends?
Dude,
And
those
like I
things
think
are
that
You ain't
there's
gonna get an AI girlfriend.
I think that it's totally a parasocial relationship.
Mhm.
It's not real life, but also if you can't otherwise form a social connection and you've tried, maybe it's like I don't know. And so like in Stardew, if you're having these relationships with other characters, yeah, it's a static dialogue. It's not quite as advanced as the AI girlfriends, but crosstalk. But I I don't know. I think that there, like Peach is saying, I think that there could be some good in it to a certain extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, those are all good points. Uh, I mean, we pretty much covered. I don't know. I've written down here was just video games and therapy and psychology, and I guess we could deep dive in that a little bit, but we kind of went over a little bit. But there's actually been there since we were just talking about this. Therapists actually do recommend certain games that help with social interaction and cognitive stimulation and stuff like that, for people who have issues with those things. But those are social games, so those would be more of your like games where you get on the mic and like communicate with people.
Club
Oh,
Penguin.
like Sims or
Club
something.
Penguin. Oh my
Club
god.
Penguin. Club Penguin, yeah. Oh, dude, Club Penguin was actually a really good example.
I've never played that game.
You never played Club Penguin?
It was
No.
everywhere on
Played
TV.
RuneScape. That was my social game.
It's different.
How is that different?
Cause you don't.
Because
You
you're not
don't-
penguins? Is that
Yeah.
it?
No,
you're
because
not Penguin.
Club Penguin was like tweens or whatever. It was like younger people, like
Right.
kind of socialize.
And I know we were talking about it earlier, but since we're talking about therapy and psychology, the gamified health apps, like you were talking about, like the daily trackers and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
which Fox had eat, sleep, and drink on his daily tracker.
He
as
can
his
have
only things
whatever he
on there.
wants. That counts.
You got to make sure you eat, drink, and sleep, Fox.
Leave me alone.
But yeah, I think we're good on that one. So the next thing was, and I know I mentioned it once already, but VR and the future of mental health gaming. So there's one specific things I saw. You're not gonna like the idea, but basically using VR as a way of getting over phobias.
Oh, Peach.
There's no way in hell.
That's exactly what I was
There's
thinking.
no way. It's too real.
Peach, we gotta play a VR version
No,
of the
I'm
Hunt.
not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's too real. I won't even play
You know what I'm talking
Phasmophobia on
Fox
VR.
is actually the one who taught me about the Huntsman one, the one with the giant spider.
No, stop. Your hand, stop.
My head. Yeah, you just need to play a game with just them all crawling all over you, you know?
There's no-
That'd be good.
Ugh, I can hear them. I can't even, bruh. I can understand immersion therapy for certain phobias, but I don't know how you get over a phobia with a creature. Like, I don't know how. Like, I'm afraid of heights, but I've been trying to like I'll play certain games and jump off high places on purpose because you still get the same feeling, and I feel like it helps me out a bit. But I don't know how anyone can do something that like snakes, spiders, whatever else people
So
are afraid of. How do you immerse yourself in that creature?
the idea is to like basically mediate it by having more calming surroundings to these kind of things, or like slightly adjusting it to a point where you can tolerate it, and then adjusting it slowly over time to the actual thing itself. If that makes sense.
It does. I would be curious on these studies on are they doing it with people who are more on the severe side or is there more mild?
That's a
Like
good question,
I would be so curious on if there's different methods on the
because you definitely
severity
are
of
more
it.
of the severe side when it comes to spiders, but maybe not for water.
Oh, true. That's you, Fox. I think I'm mild and you're severe.
Yeah, but my severe is still like I don't know. I don't think my severe is still not. I don't think it's as severe as yeah.
What?
Well, because I can still like mess around in water. Like I can.
Oh, right.
So there's actually another one that actually these universities are creating, well, companies and universities are creating these games that have biofeedback, and it's like where your like heart rate and your breathing and your stress levels influence the gameplay,
Oh, that's cool.
and
Nice.
it encourages like self regulation, and
Whoa.
That's
people
actually
who
so
this would
cool.
be beneficial to are people who have anxiety attacks and panic
Mm.
attacks, and like anxiety and panic attacks.
I wonder if it would make it worse though, because then you're seeing your like heart rate on the screen and it's like, okay, relax, relax, but you like are trying to.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what the anxiety is for.
Yeah. Are they also
My
performing?
anxiety is just seeing heart rates go higher.
Mine would be like
Yeah.
overthinking. I don't know.
No. Did you read if they're performing this on people with PTSD too?
I didn't see anything on PTSD related to the biofeedback, but that would play into panic attacks.
Oh,
So,
true.
but yeah, I didn't see anything about PTSD on those. All right. So, I what else would I really cover? I think I covered pretty much everything
Yeah.
I wanted to in terms of things. Do you guys have any other things that you would like to toss out there?
No, I think we hit everything on my notebook. Let me get these ready.
Fox is so ready. He's like grabbing the
Oh
ball.
no, no, I'm moving
Fox
these
was
closer.
done
I'm
2
moving
hours
these
ago.
closer. Oh my god.
No. Okay, I do want to ask you guys a question about all this stuff
Three
that we've
things.
been going over.
Yeah, go for it.
Mostly pertaining to like dopamine. How we were talking about how video games give sometimes a higher percentage of like dopamine hits versus things in real life. I feel like we're all part of a generation where we didn't necessarily have video games and we were like outside and then they kind of slowly progressed into our lives.
Mhm.
Can
Yeah.
you guys see like or think of something in life, real life that you really like that gives you a huge dopamine hit and compare it to something in a video game? Are they comparable to you? Is there something better in a video game that would force you to be so addicted to the game that you couldn't do this other thing? Or do you think you don't have an addiction because there's other things in real life that give you those hits, like a better hit?
So jujitsu was that for me for
Oh,
a
that's a good one.
long period of time. Um,
That's
I
such a
would
good one.
say I was addicted to it. But like we say addiction in like a bad sense. I mean, I guess it is in a way, but yeah, no, actually got a very similar feeling.
I had such a stronger feeling from jujitsu. Post jujitsu
Yeah.
practice, I'm on like cloud 9.
Absolute euphoria.
Way more than video games, really. When you first asked that question, I was gonna say checking things off a to-do list. So like jujitsu is like way more than that.
So the thing
Oh,
is,
hell yeah.
what you're talking about, Key, right now is not dopamine, it's serotonin.
It's dopamine. It's the same thing.
The dopamine would be the reward system for doing it. The serotonin is the good feeling afterward that you get for doing that action. So what I actually see is that I actually get more of a serotonin boost when I do jujitsu because I feel a lot more accomplished. Like I did something that benefited me. And so I feel more of a serotonin feeling, like, and actually feel good about myself after doing it, which I don't tend to get with video games as much.
Mm-hmm.
I get the reward system, so I get the dopamine rush, but I don't get the elevated serotonin levels that I do the same way with jujitsu.
I could see that. I could see that being the differentiator.
And that
What about
hit
you,
get
Peach?
with-
Oh, what?
I was saying that hit you get with jujitsu is better than any video game, right? Anything you've ever experienced in a video game. Would you agree or would you say no?
Serotonin wise, yes. I don't think I get the serotonin response. The dopamine levels I feel are the same, and that like my desire for like doing those two things are probably the same. But my feelings afterward, after doing jujitsu practice, make me feel so much better. Like I feel great.
It's
afterward.
like, yeah, it's hard to explain. Like they both feel like if you imagine playing a game where Marvel Rivals, for example, whatever, it's some kind of a competitive game. You're like trying to win. Maybe it's like a really close match, and then right at the end, we win, and it's like wow, like like that's like a short burst of like high energy serotonin, maybe. Versus jujitsu, it's like cloud nine for several hours.
Yeah,
post.
it's like lasting serotonin levels versus an immediate serotonin boost and then drop off. Like
yes,
it's like that serotonin level doesn't stay after you win a match, right? But I feel the serotonin levels after doing jujitsu for a long time afterward.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but jujitsu is basically like my cocaine. Like, I would be like, oh yeah, time for jujitsu practice. Oh yeah,
That's the sweat of all the
Like,
other players.
dude, I was love
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. What about you, Fox?
Bowling.
Same feeling, or is it better bowling?
I haven't bowled like competitively in over 15 years, so I don't remember. But I think back then it was better.
What was it? Your
Interesting.
crack?
Yeah.
This is just like
Yeah.
the level difference between you and me.
What do you mean?
So funny.
Just like the excitement I had over like even talking about jujitsu versus you talking about bowling.
Bowling.
Was it your
Bowling.
crack? Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, it was good.
You're right, it was.
Also, hi T Doug. Thank you for the first time chat. We're doing podcasts. We don't normally address the chat because we're doing the podcast, but thank you for coming in. Yes, this is a nerd convo, and this is absolutely your space.
That's awesome.
We are absolutely nerds.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But Peach, what about you?
Mine is rain. I really enjoy being outdoors in the rain. And so like one of my the biggest hit I'll ever get is when I'm out on a hike and I can smell when rain's about to come. It's about to rain and I just like breathe in. Bro, that's the biggest high I'll ever be on. Nothing in a video game will ever compare to that for me, ever. So I know I could never be straight up addicted, like ever be truly happy playing a video game when I know that's out there, for me at least.
It's interesting. I feel like people think of video games as highly addictive, and I think that they are. Yet we're describing all of these other things that are giving us such higher, more intense emotions for longer periods. Yet video games are still addicting, which is interesting.
Because it's elevating our dopamine levels.
Rather than the serotonin thing.
We don't need a reward in order for something to be addicting. Right? Like there's things that elevate your dopamine level that don't elevate your serotonin level. Like drinking water, like that is a task that your brain wants you to do, and it does trigger your dopamine levels.
Yeah.
but my serotonin levels aren't going to go. Woo,
Yeah, true,
you know,
true, true, true.
like
True.
there is a separation there.
True.
Thank you.
I mean, that's we pretty much talked about everything. Sorry
Yeah.
you came at the end of this.
Yeah, T-Dog.
But I think we've talked about everything we're going to talk about. All right, Fox, let's see your balls.
All right.
Do
we
you
got
guys?
the
Oh, go ahead.
Ultra Ball.
Go for it, Pete.
Yeah, go for it. I'm
Were
just
you just
showing.
maybe? Was it
No, I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
do you guys
it's
want to do the number this time so you know it's not rigged?
Oh.
I never thought it was rigged.
Yeah, we
Although
got
I have
carbonic
been the
twice.
host a lot. Oh wait, we need an explanation for this. So what we're doing right now is every one of our little like topics is in one of these balls. And we all have a topic that's one of ours in there. And he's going to randomly pick one of these balls based on whatever. And whoever's topic it is the host for that week. And you do their topic. By the way, we do this podcasting every other 2 weeks or
Every
whatever.
2 weeks.
Every
yeah.
every other 2 weeks. Every
Sorry.
other week. Yeah, there we are. Every 2 weeks we do one podcast.
Yeah.
But
So the next one
normally
is
we just
May
play video games and stuff, and it's like a normal stream where we actually interact with the audience. This is just a little bit, you know, it's we can't interact as much because we're having a flow conversation. Anyway, so wait, are we selecting balls? Or are we
Don't matter to me.
Are we? All right. I mean, I like blue balls.
Oh, never mind. I'm not
Got Moon Ball, Pokeball, Ultra Ball, and Premier Ball. Which one we going?
What do you think, Key? You trying to get mooned?
No, I want Ultra Ball.
You want the Ultra Ball? Okay, well, that's a ball. Oh, are we going with Key selection? Like, what about my choice?
Wait, how do we choose this? I don't remember how we choose.
We
Do we-
usually roll a dice. I wanted to know if you guys wanted to
Roll
do
a
it.
dice.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Peach,
One,
don't you have the
so
real one?
one.
Okay.
2,
You have a real one.
3, 4. All right.
All right, what we got?
3.
3.
Oh, you got your Ultra Ball.
A
Dude, I swear, if it's one of my topics again, I'm going to lose my mind.
It is new technology and innovations in any
No.
field in the past few years.
When are you guys gonna get a
What
topic?
the ever living.
Do you want us to pick another ball?
No, it's chosen. RNG chose. We don't
You-
go
I-
back on these things.
I told you guys the rule this time.
Bro, you haven't
I
had
don't
to
know
change
what's
your
going
subject
on.
once.
It's funny because he moves the things around in each ball, and somehow
Yeah, it's-
every week,
Keeps
and
Keeps
somehow it's
getting
always
you
your guys.
guys every time.
Wait, what was my topic again? Is new technology
New technology
I
and
say?
innovations.
this was like over a
new
month ago.
yeah, new technology and
I say.
innovations in any field in the past few years. So just
I
us
think you were-
talking
Okay.
about technology.
Yeah, I think you
new
were saying we
technology.
each could pick one and talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I was considering like, should I pick a topic,
Yeah,
and
you
then I was
guys,
just
you
like,
guys want
whatever.
to host at some point, you know, or you just
But
along
I
for the
told you we
ride,
could
or
pick
what?
another ball. We could veto this one.
That would be cheating. You
That'd be
trying to be a cheater? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I play video games. I know how it's done.
What? All right. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Next week we're gonna be going over whatever the hell Fox said because I can't even pronounce what he said. Please send me that through a message. I have no
Okay,
freaking clue.
I'll
It's
send it
just
to you.
it's just new technology and innovations recently. And the next one is May 14th. That's when we're doing that topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Followed by we all game at some point. Me and this person typically game together, and Fox and the other person typically game together.
Next to each other? I can't even tell.
Yeah, we are. On my
It
screen.
depends on which stream you're looking at. We're actually all in different cameras depending on which stream you're on.
So do we?
All right.
wanna-
Yeah, let's double raid somebody. Who are we trying to raid out to?
we got RG Brecker on.
Do y'all talk about internet news too? Maybe if we chose that as a topic.
Yeah, we each pick a different topic, so it's
Keep it
totally
vague just in case. You can talk about anything in my chat. For like normal streams, like when we're just when we're just playing games, you can talk about anything. We'll talk about pretty much. Yeah, we'll talk about internet news or whatever you want to talk about in our chat. You can talk as
All right.
long as it doesn't get us banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Little
I should-
caveat.
Maybe I should say that part. I'm not trying to get banned. But yeah.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, you trying to raid RG Brecker? Is that what you're trying to raid?
Yeah, let's raid RG Brecker.
Can you actually
Sure.
send me that?
Here, I can pull it up, or I can do it on our side.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. But yeah, these topics that we choose are planned based on what you just saw the RNG choice there. So you're not going to get current news if that's what you're trying to go for in terms of things if you're talking about this stuff. But our normal day-to-day streaming thing is pretty much everything. We actually do a lot more. I do a lot more talking with the audience than I do actually playing the game.
Dude, yesterday we did not play at
Yeah,
all.
We barely played the game at all because you guys just kept freaking talking, which I love, by the way. Yeah, it's always fun to interact with you guys.
Fox, let me know when to.
Oh, all right.
Now.
3, 2, 1. All right, I've
Wait.
created the raid.
What?
What?
Oh yeah. Oh, you started the raid, right?
Yeah, I started the raid.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought you meant 3, 2, 1 raiding
No,
now.
no,
I was
no,
like, wait,
no.
wait a minute.
No, started the raid.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I know for these podcasts, I don't have as much interaction with the audience, but thank you for being here. I actually read all your guys' messages
Yeah.
after these podcasts are over, and I know I'm always see some wild stuff.
Dude, I read
Oh,
them in
yeah.
the moment, and then it's just like, do we address that? It's so.
Casey, I saw you saying the most bizarre stuff.
Oh my God, Casey.
Casey was going wild.
I feel like everyone was saying bizarre shit tonight.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool, fun. I like it. Thank you, T Doug.
Thank you, T-Doug.
Like a couch crew here, pretty much.
Oh my
We try to be. All right. Well, raid's going out. Have a good one. I hope to see you guys
We just got an ad.
tomorrow. Hopefully.
Oh,
no
yeah.
way.
Fuck. Yep.
Do you have an ad too?
Yep. Do we just want to hit?
Damn.
Well, yeah, it's gonna go.
Oh,
anyway.
no, Fox, you don't have an ad.
Yeah,
Or-
mine
Oh, I
says added,
subbed.
yeah.
Never mind. I subbed you. Never
Just,
mind.
Yeah.
just go.
Oh,
just,
raid's
yeah,
going
you-
on. All
just
right,
hit the raid button.
bye.
Thank you, everybody.